Batchcock Nation, we are back in the attack with an awesome new guest, one of our favorite people, personally one of my closest friends in real life and in business. The talented, wonderful Jeff Knauss is in the house right now. This dude is funny. He's got just something about him that is awesome. He's got a great ability to swear. He's one of the best swearers I know. Great dirty joke teller, offensive joke teller. He's also this pillar in the community. He has great things for his business itself, which I'll have to admit, I was a part of that business and it's still a part of my heart. I still do business with them. Digital Hyve is near and dear to me. But in addition to that, right, the economic contributions, it's the emotional ones in the area. He sits on every board in the world. He's an insomniac, so he doesn't sleep, and that's how he gets all this kind of work done and helps everything out. But Jeff Knauss, how you doing, baby?
Dude, I'm so good. I'm so proud of you for building this show. And I'm feeling a little anxious, if I'm going to be honest, because I saw Stephanie's episode and you guys were fire. So funny. I was dying laughing. I listened to it in my car as I was driving. And so I got a lot of pressure to live up to kind of a legend that is Stephanie Crockett.
Yeah, she's by far the go-to guest. Like, we've had people calling and actually want her to replace the host. So we've kind of turned off the direct messages. Like, no, we don't. Well, you definitely loved it because what I'm wearing today, for the peeps at home, if you're not listening, if you're watching, this is a Punky Brewster necklace that my man sent to me because I unfortunately confessed that I had a childhood crush on Punky Brewster. So now I have to wear this, and I have to wear it next time I'm out and not acknowledge that it was a joke gift. You're like, what is that? I'm like, oh, it's Punky Brewster. You don't know?
She's just the greatest female alive.
I mean, come on, man. She had super dope style. Speaking of style, today I'm rocking from the Ben Walsh Merrill campaign shirt. This is the vote shirt to remind people, get yourselves out there and vote. It's important, especially in these trying times, man. If you want change or you don't want change, you need to stick up and stand up or shut up. So make sure y'all vote. I'm also rocking an old school Syracuse Chiefs shirt Chiefs hat that I stole from my partner, Alex. But since we're Zooming, he doesn't know that I'm wearing it until after he's editing it. So Alex, thanks for the hat, bro.
It's a good plug. 100% vote. You know, it's kind of one of those things that if you don't contribute, if you don't vote, then you don't get a voice. It's as simple as that. You can't complain later. If your guy or gal doesn't get in office, can't complain if you didn't put your stake in it. So I couldn't agree more. I was thinking before this, we were talking, and I was thinking like I'm kind of wearing a boring hoodie right now, but then I just remembered I have this sick shirt that I found, and my wife didn't get it when I bought it, but I'm a big fan of it, and it's all the planets, and then this is Pluto getting kicked out. It's like one of those.
Yes.
It's a great shirt, right?
Dope as fuck, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I miss Pluto. I mean, I know Pluto's still out there, but like, you know, it's a great dog, a great planet, or whatever it is now.
Doesn't make sense. Come on. It's a planet.
I know, dude. It's a planet.
It's
It's always been a planet, you know?
It's going to always be a planet.
Yeah, the Earth is flat and Pluto's a planet. This is how we roll.
That's it.
JK, we're not flat earthers. Jeff might be, but we're not at Spatchcock Nation. And if he is, that's his thing.
It is my thing. It's fine.
Okay, so listen, we're gonna get into this. So we tailored some of these questions because you're also, though you pick on yourself a lot for it, I love your connection with pop culture, the ability to like riff on things, and also you're proud of eclectic taste. So we're gonna put some of that to the test right now. You ready to do this thing?
Right, I am ready to do it, buddy.
All right, as we always do, we're kicking it off with MFK. So here are your choices. You know, you got to marry someone that's got to be a long-term, healthy, monogamous relationship. Okay. You are going to F someone, and that's going to be amorous one-night stand, and that's it. There's no recurring episodes. And then you have to murder somebody. So your choices are going to be Louise from Bob's Burgers,
Ooh.
Lois from Family Guy, and Marge Simpson from The Simpsons.
Oh, this is tough because, as you know, I'm a big cartoon guy. Like, I love animation. If you come to my office at Digital Hyve, you will see Rick and Morty and Bob's Burgers and all kinds of animation up on the on my wall. So, big animation fan. My favorite show out of those three would definitely be Bob's Burgers. However, Louise is underage, so I need to put that caveat out there that I probably wouldn't choose her for the F, which I assume means flowers and romance. Is that what F is standing for in this scenario, Matt? Flowers?
F is standing for a a one night amorous adventure. So you're just having sex one time, one night stand in it.
Right. So not flowers. Okay, got it. Then I would say
no, I'm talking about Louise, the mom. You're thinking of Tina. Louise is the mom, Bob's wife, right?
Linda is the mom. Louise
Linda,
is the little girl. She's got the bunny
right.
rabbit face.
Right. My bad. Louise is out. It's Linda we're talking about.
Ah, okay. All right. That makes it more interesting.
Spatchcock Nation does not ever support any sort of underage stuff, even in MFK. So my bad, Linda. My bad.
Oh, dude. Last time, I mean, in Stephanie's episode, you had the bunny rabbit. You had Easter bunny. So I was just feeling like
the Easter bunny's millions of years old, dude. That got super old.
I mean, the reality is that what I was going to say is maybe like wait a few years, but now if we have oh,
you're gonna groom Louise out and be like, yo, I'll get you ready for when we're ready to go. Just kidding.
Already, we got to restart this thing. This is not going the direction we should have. Linda, I would say if she's thrown in the mix, I would probably marry Linda because she's hilarious. She's also voiced by a dude, which is really funny. And if you watch him do the voice of Linda, it's genius. But I would probably marry Linda because she is a supportive wife. She's super funny. She's got a lot of quirks to her. We get along well. I would probably F Lois because she just got that, like, in the very raunchy Family Guy sense of all of that. Because I think Marge, and then I would probably kill Marge. Marge to me is the stereotypical, like, stand behind your man, kind of a little bit more boring, and that blue hair is intriguing, but I'd probably have to take a pass on her. So that'd be my MFK.
I love the blue hair is intriguing for sure. Sure.
It is. There's a whole lot to be done there. What about you?
Well, so actually my answers are the same. Linda's super supportive and she's funny. Like whether she's doing like a dinner theater in the show, which I love that. She's always patient with Teddy, and Teddy's super funny. But she's always just all over Bob. She's great. She's a great mother. So Linda definitely marrying. Lois, because like on the show, like they portray her as a sex machine. So I'd like to take that for a spin and see how that goes. And then I'm gonna kill Marge. Though Marge is a sweetheart and everything, but she's just kind of like there. So I can live without Marge.
Other than that hair, like I said, it's pretty vanilla.
Yeah, and the like jaundiced yellow skin, the skin color in there. Like
right.
I don't know if that's interesting to me or not, but I'll give her some credit for it.
Yo, there's a really good meme on the internet. If you ever try to find forward-facing Simpsons characters, it is the most terrifying thing ever. They're always to the side, so they have their profile, whatever. If you look up forward-facing Simpsons characters, it'll cause nightmares for real.
I'm looking up right now because then we'll post it on the gram too. Forward-facing Simpson characters.
There's some sketchy ones like Bart, and yeah, it's pretty scary.
All right, I'm sure there's also probably some NSFW versions of all of those characters we just talked about. If you're looking to learn more about the blue hair and the yellow skin, you could probably Google incognito that and get some real detail.
Does the carpet match the drapes can definitely be answered on the internet, which is, I'm not. Yeah. I don't.
Is that do you think that's the most asked question about The Simpsons in their like 25-year run of television? I
mean, it's got to be up there. I'll look at Google Trends later. We'll figure this out.
Let us know about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing we want to get from you too is, what do you find right now for you the most hot and exciting and interesting, like pop culture-y creative stuff that's going on in quarantine?
Well, I will say that one of the interesting things is just like how we acclimate to being home all the time. And so obviously popular culture, there's so much that integrates so much with like being in person and like sharing things and talking and all that stuff. And so a lot of things come organically, but when that is gone, so much of it turns into then like home entertainment, right? So, the obvious answer to that would be Tiger King and how that thing blew up, because that was wild. But I'm more interested, like I watched Tiger King. I like participated in, all the memes and stuff like that. Like I can get down with that. I could talk about it. But I will say, having a 5 and a 2-year-old, the thing that way took over our household was we decided to buy the $20 Trolls rental, because instead of it going to the theaters, it went straight to Amazon Prime and all the streaming services. That was dope, man. I thought it was going to kind of be lame because I'm like, it's kind of like watching a new movie that comes out on Netflix or whatever. But we paired that experience with the local movie tavern did fresh popcorn and like curbside popcorn. So we went to movie tavern, we got fresh movie popcorn, brought it home, and then watched Trolls, and it was dope.
Wow. You know what? That type of experience is what I've been vibing on too. We're doing the Inside Out Dining Week thing that's Friday. So Chris Johnson and Sarah Hass and all those guys set that up. So we're pumped about that. The creativity that I've been vibing on big time is some of the, like, I mean, obviously this show, but people are desperate for content, and content creators now, there's pressure under you. Like, can you create cool content? So, you know, TikTok's blowing up, but people that are finding a way to capture real-time online content, food deliveries, a movie rental, and then, you know, picking up popcorn of these things, or a beer delivery. That stuff has been really cool. And I'm pumped where I'm curious and hopefully going to be pumped, and to see how we get out of this when we get out of quarantine, how our world has changed, right? Like, digitally has always, obviously you own a company called Digital Hyve, so you're kind of into the digital scene of things. Obviously I support that too. You're seeing this change, and what's going to happen is when we start to engage back with the regular world and we're still involved digitally, what's that marriage going to look like? I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Read this great article about how societal changes and behaviors will be so drastically different for years to come, because this is not a singular issue. This is because of the impact that the pandemic has had on us, it's literally changing human behavior and human psyche. And one of the interesting things I read in an article was them saying before this, the question was, well, is there a reason to have this meeting online rather than just do it in person? It was like the default was to do it in person. I think the shift will then become, is there a reason to do this in person? Why can't we just do it online? Because it'll save on commute, it'll save on time, it'll be a lot of things. And so I think, to your point, content creation, I think figuring out new ways to communicate, massively big shift in all of that. And so I'm excited to see the outcomes too. And very honestly, even personally, I've been trying to, you know, people are looking for answers during this pandemic thing, dude. Like, people are they're confused. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's good and bad information out there. And so I've been trying to do all my fact finding, distill it down, and just share some insight. And I got to tell you, like, just organic social media stuff has been blowing up if you do really good content in this time. So, you know, I'm loving this show. I'm loving all the other content creators out there that are doing it, delivering it in different ways. I love that you pivoted from just, you know, the Spashcock Funk, you know, the food-based things to this. Like, it's just super smart. So I love it.
Yeah, I mean, that way, you know, hopefully we're just staying in front of people. And it's funny with the offices too, like, you know, you have a big, beautiful office, and will people now be like, you know what, you work from home and then come in one day a week and we have meetings? Like, it's going to be interesting to see how that changes out.
No doubt.
Okay, so another little pop culture thing. So you are a big emo guy, Death Cab for Cutie. You get into some stuff there. So what is your favorite emo song that you like to chill to that regularly appears on your playlist?
All right. So first of all, you know how it's okay if one race calls another, like, the same race, the slur, like if I'm an Asian dude, which I am clearly, and I go to another Asian friend, I can say that, like, you calling me emo, it's just like, that's messed up. That's all I'm saying, is that it's messed. Emo is basically an insult. It's a derogatory term. I have
a couple of emo songs, man. I was going to roll with Friday by The Cure, sometimes Ocean's Avenue by Yellow Card. I mean, you know, but noted, I'll make sure I'm like, so it would be racist for me to be like, yo, I've got emo friends. That's not cool to do that.
Exactly. That's exactly right. It's, you know, emo kids back in like the whatever early 2000s do not like being called emo, and I can put myself in that category. As much as my music taste and my fashion taste lined up with all of that, I refuse to consider myself emo. That aside, I will say that I was my favorite all-time band, and this is probably just pure nostalgia, is a band called Saves the Day. And there's this song that has this nostalgic emo-y feel to it. It's called Third Engine. It's on their record Through Being Cool, and it's it's the emo-iest of emo lyrics. I mean, it's literally like, I think the chorus is something like, you know, the song is about being on a train and thinking about this girl, and you know, having literally one of the lines is like, did you know that I had the liberty of watching you in your sleep? I tried to touch your knees under the sheets. Like it's that bad. But when that song comes on, I get like jazzed up. I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'm 17 again. It's great.
Yeah, I mean that genre of music, like I mentioned, Yellow Card and Ocean's Avenue. That song to me, a fun little adventure in my life to that song. But also too, like the idea of just like, let's just leave this town and run away. Like that concept to me sometimes is still something my wife and I be like, you know, let's just move to New Orleans right now. So I mean, I get it.
First of all,
I appreciate the cultural sensitivity training I'm getting here too, because that's useful.
You clearly need it, man. I mean, there's a musical divide here, and you need to understand that it's emo's a very touchy word for a lot of us. But if you guys ever packed up and left, that would not be okay with me, first of all. And second of all, when you said that like it resonates with you that you would just pack up and go, I thought you meant without Steph, and I'm like, bro, you know she's
no. Yeah, like I mean, I would be dead in the ditch or be some kind of like really. I mean, I don't know, man. I'd be not a. I'd like to say I don't say I'm not a good person. I might not be alive if it wasn't for her, probably, but. Yeah, man. I mean, my life is infinitely better because of her. So yeah, if I was going to break out, you'd have to bring her.
You'd be dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she might kill me too. So that might expedite it. All right. So what's your go-to luxury food, right? Like if you're going to splurge, you know, have a little special time, what's something you might make at home or something that like, it's just your luxury thing that makes you feel good.
Bro, I think you and I have talked about this a little bit in the past, but I'm not a bougie food eater. I'm just, you know, it's funny because Heta, my wife, she is incredibly all about food. Like if she could eat out every single night, if she could have like the bougiest shit in the world, she'd be all into it. She doesn't need bougie. She just needs a lot of quality food that she tastes good in her mouth, right? For me, I'm just like I could eat pasta, butter, and salt every night of the week. And I know that's probably sacrilegious to say on the Spatchcock Nation, but I legit just like, I'm the most basic bitch eater of all time. Like if you ask me outside of this, if you ask me what my favorite food would be, it'd go between macaroni and cheese and pizza. And not the bougie kind of mac and cheese where you got like this fancy cheese and shit. Like you, first of all, I'm kind of offended that I have not got to try Stephanie's mac and cheese, because when you guys first did that episode, I've been watering at the mouth since then, and I haven't had any, so that's kind of annoying that we're like best friends and I haven't gotten to taste that. But secondarily, it's also pizza. Like pizza is, I just could eat pizza every night. I could eat pizza every meal of every day. So like I'm not as you know, like first of all, I'm a pescatarian, so I don't eat beef or chicken or anything like that. So I'm not a steak guy. So that's probably a bougie food. I'm not a big lobster guy, so I'm not bougie there. So I don't know, like probably the fanciest thing is like a fancy omelet.
All right. So I mean, you're a pescatarian, and God bless you. I know that's a oh, you're talking about just eating fish, not that's Presbyterian. My bad. So yeah, those are good answers. Like the mac and cheese. First of all, I will make that happen for you. I will, and you know, but actually I would answer that similarly because there's nothing wrong with. I mean, I ate pasta every other night when I had no money when I moved to New York City. Like I would eat angel hair pasta and butter every night and watch one half of Braveheart on VHS and the second half the next night because I didn't have cable either. But right now, actually, I always have a little thing of caviar in my house, in my fridge, and I'll do angel hair, butter, and caviar, and just whip it up, maybe sprinkle some cheese on it. Good thing to sit down and zone out to.
I super imagine you just like chugging away at caviar, being super sophisticated with your pinky up. I've never had caviar in my life.
Oh, it's just really salty. It's a nice little thing. We won't put it in your mac and cheese, but I'll get you some caviar to try too.
I'll try it. I'll try the mac. Sounds all right.
I mean, but you live in Skinny Alice. They have like a caviar store there, right? Like,
yeah, I'm actually open.
Caviar.
There's four actually. It's a pretty competitive space.
The caviar war in Skinny Alice. All right, so right now you drive. You were one of the first people that I know. The first time I ever drove a Tesla was your Tesla, and you're a good car guy, and you're environmentally conscious and all these things. What's your dream car though? Like, what would you love to be driving on the regs? If one, if people weren't going to hate on you for it, and two, like, what would make you happy?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I would hope that I do things in life that I'm not worried about if people are gonna hate on me. I just can't live your life that way, right? Like, I think if it's gonna be something that and the reality is, even the Tesla, like, it's certainly an expensive car. I'll tell a story on that in a second. It's an expensive car, but I didn't buy that to be fancy and shit for other people. I did it because it genuinely makes me happy as hell. It is
Yeah, oh no, yeah, I respect it. I'm not like you are one of my favorite people ever for tons of reasons, but one is because you're genuine and you don't care what people think, but also too, like, if you're riding around like I live in Eastwood in Syracuse, and if I had like a Lamborghini Gallardo parked in the driveway, people are like, look at this guy. And I have to deal with like that type of shit.
I'd be like, look at this guy. That's how I would be, man. I'd be like, my fucking man. But no, I would say, to be very honest with you, the car that I drive is my dream car. Well, the car that I drove, because I haven't given you an update on this. When I was younger, I always thought that I wanted an Audi R8, because those look really fancy and really fast and really cool. But I've never really been truly a car guy. I just thought it looked neat. The other one that I really like that just came out is the Porsche. I'm not a Porsche guy. I do not like Porsches in general, but the Porsche electric car, I'm blanking on the name now. Can't remember it, but it's an electric car. It is a beautiful vehicle. Like, again, not a big fan of cars, but I think this is one Taycan. No, that's not it. But it is a gorgeous car. It's a completely electric. It's the Tesla competitor. It's very, very nice. But I love Tesla, man. The reason I love Tesla so much is it's a blend between a great vehicle, but also amazing tech. I think of it more like an iPhone than I do a vehicle, because it has the autopilot function. So when I go out to our Rochester office, I got an hour and a half drive there, an hour and a half drive back. I put it on autopilot and I just work the entire time. So that alone for me, the value there, super worth it. But what I haven't told you is that I actually downgraded. I went from a Model S to a Model 3 because my lease was up right as the pandemic broke. And I guess this is going to be completely out of the other side of my mouth. I do care what other people think, because I didn't feel like it was right to get an expensive car in a time where people were really struggling. So I decided to downgrade to get the Model 3 Tesla. And that's, it starts at $35K. I got the autopilot and some other things, so it was more. But it's definitely more of an affordable vehicle. I have to tell you, dude, I think Tesla screwed up a little bit. That car, to me, again, not being a super car guy, almost just as good as the S. Like, it is a fast, smooth ride. It's smaller. It also doesn't have as long a range. But those are the only two complaints I have. Like, it is a dope car. And actually the interior, I kind of like more than the S. So it's a sick car. And, that to me, I'm kind of living the dream of driving Teslas, because right now there's no other vehicle that I would want. Now, when the fully autonomous, whatever, I don't care if it's a Ford, a Chevy, doesn't matter to me. The first fully autonomous car, that's the car I'm going to buy. When I can get in, push a button, it goes off and does its thing. I don't need to pay attention. I can watch a movie in the car. Don't care what brand. That's going to be my dream car. That's it.
Yeah. I can see that with you, definitely, the self-driving cars too, because with the exception of your family, everything that you do is dedicated to like working on something for one of your nonprofits or Digital Hyve, obviously. So I can see that being an issue or being like the go-to choice for you. And I hope though that the first one they have that's electric is on like a 10-inch lift with huge tires. It comes automatically with like flags sticking out of the back and everything like that. And like the plastic nut sack hanging off the trailer hitch with the Digital Hyve license plate above it. Like that's what I hope happens.
You literally just described my dream vehicle. So, I mean, maybe you and I should just make it. We should stop talking right now, shut this off, and just go make a new car.
All right, guys, I'm super handy, so that would really work out really well.
Same. That's definitely.
I have to get my wife to switch light bulbs around here because I can barely get that done.
I am very interested in your dream car. Like, I can't picture. I should know this, but I don't know.
Well, you know what? I'm like you. I'm not a huge car guy. Like, I want to say like a Bugatti or one of those things and sound cool, but actually it would be like a late 70s model. Jeep Wrangler, like the CJ7 style. I drove like I've drove a couple of Wranglers in my life. One was an 80s one that was falling apart, but it looked super cool. So it'd be a little bit of on a lift. And it'd be a car that I wouldn't drive all the time. It would be in my garage. So I might not go to happy hours, so I would Uber to that instead, but it would never have a top on it. So anytime, it would always be topless. Like everything should be topless all the time, you know. But that type of thing though, that's my go-to dream car. And like yours, I mean, this is attainable. So, you know, I gotta get back and look at it.
Yeah, I think people buy too much shit to impress a lot of people that they don't necessarily care about. So for me, I always try to stay conscious of that, because I never want to buy anything. I don't want to use my money to make other people think something of me, because that's human nature. I mean, I'm, you know, you mentioned earlier, I don't care what other people, I care just as much as anyone else about what other people think of me. Certainly, but I try to temper it with being self-aware enough to know that the things that I do, I'm not solely reliant on, like I'm still being genuine to myself, right? And making sure that I don't do shit just because I think other people will think I'm cool or generous or hip or what the fuck ever. Like, as long as I'm genuine to myself, then hopefully that reflects in the way that people think about me. But then there's also that line of like, at some point I just don't give a shit. Like and that comes with age, I think. So, you know, not that I'm fucking 80 years old, but I have learned throughout my experiences that, you know, it was very important to me when I was young to prove something to other people. Like that was one of my driving factors. And now I'm just like, I'm going to just do what I do. And hopefully that's enough for my family and my friends. That's it.
Well, I mean, I think about you a lot in that regard. And I wonder if, because you've said that to me before, and I wonder if it's because you've proved it to yourself now. So now you're like, look, the people that I care about, myself, my wife, my family, I've proven it to them. So like, you're just going to be yourself. And I hope that everybody, younger people in particular, get to have that experience and that change that you're describing, because it's really special. But I do know there's one person that you like to impress. So let's talk about her for a second. An ideal date night for you and Heta. You're going to do something that, like, maybe you said you're going to be home the night before at 7 o'clock for dinner and a big client thing exploded and you were going to have a fun, good Friday date night anyways. What's like, let's pull out the stops. This is date night.
I will say it's lame as shit, but it's cool because that's who we are. We would, our date night, if we could choose within reason, right? Like if our perfect date night would be to fucking jump on a private plane and go to Nice where we met and spend, you know, a month there. That's what our dream date night or month would be. But within reason for us, it's just dinner and a movie, man. My wife, one of the things that I think has been a saving grace in our marriage is that we love the shit out of good content, good movies, good TV shows. And so, and we love the movie theater experience. So if we can choose to have a night away from the kids, we'd go to a nice dinner. One of our go-to spots is Lacey's. I know you're going to talk to Laura Surway soon. Lacey's is one of our favorite places to go for a fun, nice date night. Lots of really good food and environment. And then head back to Camillus to go to Movie Tavern. Sit back, have some popcorn, have some candy, watch a good movie, and that will make us happy as shit, honestly.
That. I mean, I kind of want a third wheel on that date. It sounds a little nice and relaxing.
Honestly, then if that happened, then it would be a that much better.
Well, so my answer is super similar. Like not the super dream situation, but an ideal one. With my wife, let's say she's had a really crazy week, and maybe it's the summer, so I'm playing a little bit more golf than I am going to class and things like that. So what I want to do is get some of her girlfriends to meet us for some cocktails at Lacey's. And get the chickpeas because she loves the chickpeas there. And then go to Oh My Darling because the vibe in Oh My Darling is awesome. And it makes my wife just feel cool when she's in there. And then probably then go to an event at the Landmark Theater because that's near and dear to her heart. Yep. And it's got to be a good show though. Like I mean, for me, it would be like the Hendrix Experience, but her it might be something like Phantom of the Opera, which I can roll with that. There's some murder and intrigue in that, so not too bad.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I love Oh My Darling. That's a great spot. When they first opened, I was like, damn, this is like I'm walking into a Manhattan spot. It's great.
All right. Yeah, I mean that's what I feel like too. Except like and it's bright enough where it's not too bright. But I feel like, you know, it's bright enough where I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm getting old. It's different than a lot of the other places. But they're also
Visibility is important for you then, being
It,
able
it,
to
yeah, yeah,
clearly
you know,
read the menu.
that's the reason why we're doing a video podcast is because I want to be able to look at my, like, I'm not even looking at you. I'm just looking at myself the whole time. I'm like, how do my arms look? Like, can people see my necklace?
Speaking of that, I did hike up these sleeves on the t-shirt just a little bit. So.
Oh man, that's one of my favorite things of all time. But you know what though, as much as I tease you about that, there's no debate. You asked my wife about it. I've talked about it before, and I'm like, I'm going to teach myself how to sew because I'm going to do this to every one of my t-shirts.
Listen,
because it's dope.
I mean, that's one of my favorite running jokes. One of my favorite running jokes too, is that Matt always makes fun of me because I have told him in the past, I don't do it anymore, but in the past, I used to sew up my shirt sleeves because I'm a short guy, as we share that.
Yeah, for sure.
Common attribute. And so all the sleeves are just mega long, and I feel it's not very flattering. So I tighten them up a little bit. And now, Matt, I think just Matt really enjoys looking at the guns. That's the reality. That's why you hone in on them so much.
That could be it. Like I was like, well, I remember the first time I saw him, I'm like, man, how come my shirt, like we're in Digital Hyve shirts. I'm like, why doesn't mine have short sleeves like that? And then I learned the truth behind it.
Custom, baby.
So what's the community thing right now that you think is hot that's going on here that you might want to shout out that you think people are doing well?
Well, you did mention I'm on quite a few not-for-profit boards, and I'll give the very quick history on that. I was adopted at 3 months old, and I'm from South Korea, and if I weren't adopted, my birth parents, they were 16 years old. My birth mother was 16-year-old. I think my birth father was like 17, and in South Korea at that time. They weren't married. My birth father was in the military. And so I would have had a really rough life. I wouldn't be able to go to public school, a whole bunch of things. They were in super mega poverty in this fishing village. And so I'm very fortunate that they gave me up for adoption. But I'd made no decision to make that happen. There was nothing that I did differently in my life. I didn't make a choice. It just happened. And there's so many young people, there's so many children that get born into terrible situations that don't have an opportunity to escape their situational context in life. And so my life's mission, I always try to remind myself of that, how I got started in life and the fact that it was sheer luck that I got adopted by a loving family here in upstate New York. And so, my life's mission is really to change the trajectory of generational poverty for as many people as possible. Throughout my life, that's one of my major goals, as I just want to help people that really are just stuck in a generational cycle of poverty, of being in circumstances that, whether their parents are in jail or they're addicts. So that's their only role modeling that they have. And they don't really have a great school system. So then they're forced to be in this cycle, and then their children and their children and children. If we can just get them off and either get them education or a job path way that will help them see a different career path, or their parents, right? It breaks the chain. And so that's the why behind what I do. And so I would just give, a shout out to United Way of Central New York. They're doing amazing things right now. United Way is helping so many other not-for-profits, and their business model is incredible. If you don't know, I had kind of a bias against United Way when I first got involved with them. I thought they were this big national organization, but everything that happens with United Way of Central New York happens locally. And I know Stephanie obviously has a big role to play there, and she's now our new board president, is doing an amazing job already. So we're really proud to have her in that position. Food Bank of Central New York is an incredible organization helping so many people in Central New York. Loretto Foundation, it's elder care facilities and helping, they employ the most women of minority in the city of Syracuse. They employ the most women in that demographic. So they do an incredible work there and help support their employees as well as their patients or their residents. SUNY Oswego Foundation is my alma mater. Love SUNY Oswego. Big shout out to them. OCC Foundation, as well as Center State CEO and the Regional Economic Development Council. I'm just starting to get involved with that. So lots of different organizations that I'm involved with, but I hope I didn't forget anybody. But they're all doing amazing things, especially during COVID-19. So many people need so much more support. The food bank has had a tremendous, unbelievable uptick in need for distribution of food and services. The best way that anybody can help that's listening is to donate money. It's always great to donate food and resources and paper towels and things like that as needed. But the reality is that the cash infusion that these not-for-profits need, both for operations and serving their folks, goes a long way. Even the higher education institutes, SUNY Oswego, OCC, they've created funds to actually help the students that are most in need. So each one, pretty much every not-for-profit out there, you can't go wrong right now, because so much support is needed for people that are out of a job, people that are furloughed, that have less income that they're used to, people that are struggling to pay their bills, get their food and necessities, pay their rent. There's just a big need right there. So I think overall, there's just a lot of really good things happening, and I would just urge you to support the things that mean the most to you.
Oh man, awesome answer, dude. I was thinking about the food bank and thinking about you and your involvement with them. These great spots they have that not only say donate, but they're also saying, if you need food, here's a number to call. But I mean, you can't say better than you just did. So thanks for sharing that. So let me change gears on you now to a business question, because now I'm on the fields. I want to get back to like some crazy stuff. You have to pick a movie character or a fictional character to start a business with.
One of my favorite movies of all time, and we may share this knowing you, is Back to the Future. And I think that I would want to start a business with Doc from Back to the Future, the crazy Doc, because I find that I have no discernible talents or knowledge that would help me in the business world. The reason that Digital Hyve has been so successful is I started a business with a very smart guy named Jake Tanner. And what I've realized, what's that?
He's the smartest guy that I know.
He's an incredible genius and incredibly good at his craft. I find that in my life, the way that I've been able to find some success is to partner myself up with smarter people. I mean, that's probably a cliche in like the leadership advice world, is surround yourself with smarter people than yourself. But I really have done a good job of that because I have a pretty low barrier there. So, people like Jake, people like my wife, people like you that I learn from every day when I get a chance to connect with you. So Doc from Back to the Future, that dude invented time travel.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't get much more successful or smart than that.
I feel, but also he has no
idea. He's a good dude.
He's a good dude. He's crazy, but he's a good dude. He cares very much about Marty. But I watched this video recently, like they never explain how Marty, a high school student, is like best friends with a crazy psycho scientist in his like 60s. How did that happen? That there's a
backstory. I forget, like he like was helping him like with his lawn work or something like that, and or he was like getting bullied at school, and like here's someone that actually, we'll find it. Like when we're looking up the what's that?
Is that the real story? Is that fan work?
I think it might be fan fiction, but we'll look when we're Google incognitoing Marge Simpson and all these people. We'll also check out the relationship between Marty and Doc, but that might come across a little crazy too.
You might need Google Incognito for that one as well. I can't imagine the shit you'll find on that. But I think Doc just didn't know how to. I'm good when I find somebody that needs to commercialize an idea and bring it to life. That's where I can help. And Doc is certainly not I don't think he is as good of a dude as he is. He's probably not a good people leader. So if I can complement my skills with somebody that's super smart, that's what I would do.
All right. So, I mean, the skill that you have, one of the many skills that you have, one of the skills that other people do not, is you're great at building relationships. I've never seen anyone, and they're genuine. They're not fake relationships. And that's something you're able to do at scale. And it's something that, I mean, I try to get better at, and I'm a pretty good relationship builder, but you do it at a level that is unheard of, and it's never fake. So Doc would benefit from that, because clearly he's only hanging out with high school kids because nobody else likes him. You'd help him out there. I'm going to go with a different direction from a movie that I also know that you're a fan of. Is I would partner with Tyler Durden from Fight Club.
That was my second. Damn, that's crazy. Dude. Like as I was thinking about it, Fight Club is always top of mind when anybody's about any movie, but that's good.
Because you know what, I might end up in jail or dead or something like that, but you were gonna have the adventure of a lifetime, dude.
100%.
I was doing some work the other night, grading some stuff and like getting something ready for a project that we're working on for Spatchcock. And in the background, I was flipping through channels, and it was the very beginning of Fight Club, where he's like, I am Jack's liver. And I was just like, oh man, now I'm stuck here for 2 more hours. Because,
right. Yeah, you can't pass on that. That's a really good one, primarily because, I mean, he was financing that whole thing on selling soap, right? Like he was like liquefying soap and then selling it at a crazy margin. Like
He
he
was
knows
stealing
business.
soap from a liposuction place and selling the women's fat back to them.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert! Sorry if you haven't seen the movie, it gets crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. It's Brad Pitt's wife's head in the box. So, and that's a different movie. Like if we're spoiling movies from 30 years ago, I guess we can go down that path.
Maybe we should do an episode and just call it it's all spoilers. Like
that's it.
You know.
Spoilers from the 80s. The Goonies,
right,
Goonies end up saving their parents.
All right, so here's what we're going to do now. So we are going to move to a speed round. Just you're answering it, not me. And these are some questions that it's basically this or that are the choices. And then we are going to get into a close. So we're going to start the speed round. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Spatchcock Nation lightning round. Jeff Knauss starts now.
Let's do it.
Passenger or pilot in a plane? You.
Oh, me? Passenger.
Okay. Morning sex or a really big lead for Digital Hyve?
I guess it depends on who's sex with. Just kidding, Heta. Really, really big lead for Digital Hyve because that'll probably lead to morning sex.
Okay, all right. You can either be a tiger. You wake up tomorrow and you are either a full-grown tiger or a full-grown eagle.
Oof. Eagle. Travel, get around faster, go see a lot of things, and eagles are dope. I like tigers.
They are dope. I like tigers too. Okay, spank or be spanked?
I don't know. The only person that spanks me is you. Like anytime I see you, you just get a handful of butt. So I guess if it's you and I talking, I guess I'll be the spanky.
Spanky, the receiver of the spank. Okay. Last one. Velveeta or Kraft macaroni and cheese?
Kraft, 100% Kraft. I'm a blue box dude. I mean, I told you I'm not a bougie anything, and so like getting a 49-cent box of blue box, just whipping that up. I call Kraft mac and cheese Daddy's famous mac and cheese because I make that shit all the time for the kids, and they are just so bought in. They think it is I am churning the butter and they think it's like hand pulled pasta.
You're gonna break their hearts in like 4 or 5 years. They're gonna be like at a sleepover and be like, "This tastes just like Daddy's mac and cheese."
Dude, first of all, no one will ever be able to make that recipe on the box like I can, so that won't happen. Second of all, if anybody does come in on Max on that, he's defensive of his dad. He's gonna throw down.
Love it. Okay, Jeff Knauss killed the lightning round. So, anything else you want us to tell our viewers about you, about Digital Hyve, about your nonprofits?
No, man, I think the biggest thing is, right now things are absolutely insane with the business and quarantine and all that. But I got to tell you that this, when you talk to me about doing this, is the thing that I've been the most excited about since I've been quarantined, is chatting with you. And that's not bullshit. You mentioned building relationships, but Matt Reed it's hard to find good friends when you get older, right? Like you have your high school buddies, you have your college friends, and those are kind of your lifelong friends. And then as you get older, you get acquaintances, or you get some friends, but they're kind of fringe friends that come and go. Matt, you are just one of my deepest and closest friends because the authenticity, man. I've never met somebody more genuine. You're always yourself. You don't put on a fucking face for anybody. You're always you. And I love you for it. He's this guy, he sends me 700 handmade cards a day in the mail, and I can't tell you just the thoughtfulness of our friendship. So the fact that you're doing this, I'm super proud that you're doing this, and everything you're doing in your life, I'm super proud of you. I'm super proud that you found a wife way out of your league. I'm very proud of you for that. I just so much appreciate our friendship whenever we get a chance to talk, man. It's always great.
Dude, we appreciate you being a guest. You are one of my closest and strongest friends and allies. We love you, Spatchcock Nation. We love all you out there. For Jeff Knauss, Spatchcock Funk. Peace.
Peace.